I'm going to take off the clamp that is holding the whole thing together, but I won't have to readjust that because it will be ready to put straight back on when I'm ready. Similarly with the picture framing clamps, I'll loosen them rather than taking them completely apart, so I can pop them over again, put those on the floor ready to go back. Take that off. And now we'll set about putting glue on all the joints. The right amount of glue is a fillet, a bit like when you're using bath sealer, along each corner. On these joints, it's quite a thin fillet. And then using a coffee stirrer, you can just wipe that glue up the side of the housing, wipe the glue up that side of the housing, and then you've got enough left over to just fill in the middle bit. And that is plenty. You don't want more than that. Try and work cleanly so that you haven't got glue all over your Workmate. Line down here, line down there, spread it. And if anything, a little bit less than this one. And I'd work on both your side bits before you start on your shelves. It's really translucent covering that you want. You can see through it to the grain, but it's white all over. And as we said before, you're in not too much of a rush. 20 minutes before that'll start becoming worryingly dry. Important that you go over the end grain because that soaks up glue like a sponge. The fibres are a little bit like drinking straws and they suck up the glue quite readily. Don't you saw that? Let's have a look at this one. Again, translucent covering is what you're after. This wood's quite resinous, so probably won't soak up quite as quickly as other end grain might. I've set up my shelves and my side pieces so that they're in order. I've got my arrowhead pointing in the right direction there. I've got the arrowhead pointing in the right direction here. I can see my face side marks, face edge marks I should say, face edge marks on all those pieces. So this is the upper side. I'll pop that down, separate those out a bit so that I can grab them when I need them. And the first shelf that's going to go in is this one. That's going to go in there. And I'm very careful to make sure that as that goes in, that this is dead flush. Good. Make sure I've got it the right way around. Because of the joints are really quite tight, there's not much chance of shifting that once you got it in. So now's the time just to check that they're dead flush. Now I can put this on top. I can feel that's not flush on this side. It's flush here and flush here. Good. Very nice. Particularly keen that front edge as it should be. I'm going to push that in a bit. Good. And then finally, the top pops in there. And the bottom pops in there. And I'll just double check that these are right, and I notice that this one isn't. That should be that way around. So all in all, very easy to make mistakes, and I'm really pleased I warned myself through warning you that that was something I had to watch. Bit of a gap here, so I'm just going to try and get these joints a little bit tighter. Right, we can now put the clamps on. So it's really worth taking your time over this. You spent hours getting to this stage and you really don't want to mess it up the last few minutes. Even to the point of getting the right amount of tension on this cord, it's really worth thinking about. There's one thing that I've noticed, and there's a gap here and a gap there, and it's because the band clamp is actually sitting on the tops of the side pieces. So what I need to do with that is to slacken everything off and put a piece of material in here and a piece of material in there. Make absolutely sure that the packing piece is sitting on this component and not this component, otherwise you're not getting any advantage from it. And as close to the joint as you can get it, because you don't want to flex the wood at all. And we'll tighten that up again, see if that's improved the situation. Yes, it has. Don't know whether you can see, but the glue's squidging out in here now, which is what it should do. Make sure that that's in the middle. Not tight enough. And the last thing is to check it for square. Oh, this time that's spot on. Oh, tell a lie, it's got a little bit of wobble there. Let's see if it's the same up here. No, it's okay there. If anything, that could do with coming down. Yeah, I think I'm just going to shift it a little bit in that direction. Nice. Hooray! These are nice and tight. Just check the other side. This hasn't tightened up quite as I hoped it might. So I might just give that a bit of a squeeze. And that's close that up. Squeeze may be a slightly politer word for a bash. So it's all square. Just wipe off any excess glue. There's not much of that because we use the right amount. And we'll leave that overnight, come back tomorrow, and we'll start planing up these surfaces, and it should look really good.